Hello, everyone. Please hit that thumbs up button. Got some great news today. Some great news from Harry, some interesting news, annoying news from Meghan's side, and some laughs as well. We've got some karma to laugh about today, so get ready, get your bellies ready. It's gonna be funny. But welcome. And let's get to it. Let's see who's in the chat. Can I also just say thank you to everyone who listened to the last podcast? We had a special guest on. I'm so glad that you enjoyed this chat, and I was so happy to have Miss Catherine Skinner on. It was an excellent podcast, very different from anything we do. There was a lot of history, academia, and Catherine's speciality and what she focuses on is, patriarchy and dismantling different tentacles of patriarchy, and the monarchy being one. And we talked about the monarchy through the lens of patriarchy and the structures that are created both inside of the institution and how it then influences things outside of the institution from a feminist lens. So if that sounds interesting to you, please do go and give it a listen, because it was a very, very informative podcast. Let's see who's in the chat today. Hey, Church Nelly. How Caroline? Hey, Vanessa. Oh, hey, Mina. Who else is here? Hey, Joan. 1988 champions. Heather. Lovely. Puzzle Dot. Hey, Puzzle Dot. Lucy, Louise. Okay. Some of the usual fam. So let's get started. Okay, first thing, let's laugh at some karma. Who's ready to laugh? Actually, do you know what? I wouldn't even call this karma. I would actually say that this is an example of someone projecting their insecurities. That's what I'm going to call this. I'm going to walk back my initial statement. Because when it comes to women and our appearance, even for the nastiest women, I'm just very careful about conversations, because we have class over here. I'm very careful about conversations that we have. Sarah Vine, who has been very nasty towards Meghan. I mean, look at this article from the Daily Fail. She did a special where she said in the Daily Fail about why after 15 years of wearing wigs, I've decided to reveal my real hair. And what this shows me is, yet again, how for so many of those who go after Meghan, especially women, a lot of it comes down to insecurity. A lot of it is projection. Mind you, Meghan is known for very strong, healthy hair. Maybe she should order her some of that hippie highbrow oil. Hair loss, very normal thing for older women. Nothing to be ashamed about, but projecting your feelings onto someone else who you don't know because you're so bitter is never acceptable. And I do feel with Sarah Vine, that is 100% what it is. I also do believe that she is an artist. I believe that she's a very jealous woman. She's the type of woman who, her Twitter handle is Westminster Wag. She was married to Michael Gove, who at one point was the number 2 in government, right-hand man to the former Prime Minister. And so who she's married to, the man that she was married to, was such a big part of her identity, central to her identity. And women like this aren't very good at self-actualizing. They're the complete opposite of Meghan. Meghan is a woman that's very self-actualized, who had so many things, a laundry list of things going on, and then finding the right partner was just an add-on to everything that she already had going on. Ugh. If you have issues or insecurities, you need to deal with it yourself. Don't use other people as a canvas to project your insecurities. I would say the same for individuals like Carolyn Graham. Now, if you haven't seen this, what happened on GB News the other day is that she said twice that Mama Doria, had gone to jail. A false statement and a lie that finds its origins in the fact that derangers and tabloid rats went looking for anything that they could pin on Meghan and her mum. Now, someone, I don't know whether it was a tabloid journalist or one of the derangers, found an individual called Dorian Ragland, a male, so not even a woman, but a male, who was convicted of drugs. So not Doria. And somehow they ran with this lie about Doria being a drug dealer and a criminal. And they're still perpetuating this lie now. Now, GB News, since this incident happened on GB News, they have deleted the video from their social media, but obviously the internet last on has right now, as we're speaking, over 75,000 views. I'm not going to repost that on my YouTube just because GB News removed it from their social, so I don't know if they'd flag it on my channel. Even with commentary, I think they would probably try to flag it as copyright. But they have issued no apology and no retraction to what I believe is essentially libel. Saying that somebody is a criminal and saying that somebody went to jail, that's definitely libel. Thank you so much, Elaine Parker, for the super sticker. You are so much appreciated. Hope you're doing good, Elaine. Did somebody say that Sarah Vine needs the big chop? Who said that? Who said that? Okay, next one. Next thing. Yeah, but yeah, like before I actually move on to the next thing, I do hope that Meghan's team do look into libel or suing for this one. I know they can't sue for every single thing, but I think this one is worth looking into, to be honest, because it's just not acceptable. Right, on to this whole Thomas Markle thing. I can't wait for the end of this circus, and I feel like it's actually coming to an end real quick because they're not getting what they want. So just to update, Thomas Markle is in the Philippines. We're not 100% sure yet where, but we think it's in Cebu. Getting treatment, and apparently he had to have his leg amputated. Now, it was confirmed by Meghan's people that Meghan did reach out or attempt to reach out, but in a very clever twist of events, it would appear that she reached out via email, which is a stroke of genius. Because if that email is labeled private and confidential, or if there's any instructions in that email to not share, and the Daily Fail does share any of the contents of those email or suggests or even says anything that suggests that they are putting out the contents of that email, like Meghan gave her dad kind words in the email or anything like that, they could be sued the same way they were sued for publishing her private letter. So very clever of Meghan's team to send an email and not call Thomas Markle, because right now Carolyn Graham of the Daily Fail is right beside him. So Thomas Markle is trying to lead his daughter into a circus and a trap. Meghan was smart to send an email inquiry because the Daily Fail can't use that because of copyright issues. They want her in presence, an audio recording, but it must be direct to his phone because they can exploit that. They have even resorted to using articles setting out how she must not and cannot contact her father by email. And this contact has to be done by phone, where the trap is. They're so transparent, exactly. The MG Media, which owns the Mail on Sunday, said Mr. Markle does not have an active email address, but his phone number, which the Duchess has previously used for him, remains unchanged. Any suggestion we have puppeteered Mr. Markle is entirely false and denied. You are the biggest newspaper in the United Kingdom right now, engaging in a petty cat and mouse chase, trying to entrap Duchess Meghan. You literally say Mr. Markle does not have an active email address. So you are conversing with him. The fact that these people don't even find it weird that you are a tabloid engaging in this pathetic behavior with someone's father, with a royal's father. In fact, this whole thing is so deranged. You want to know how deranged it is? Camilla Tominey the liar, has now grown a moral compass. Camilla Tominey was on a podcast talking about this and was basically just saying how, in her own words, that this is ridiculous. Camilla Tominey. That's how much the Daily Fail has lost the plot. And now I'm even seeing on GB News, after their last segment, in fact, in that segment with Carolyn Graham, not only did she say that Doria has gone to jail and is a criminal, she also said that Meghan should reconcile with her dad, all of that kind of stuff. And so now they seem to be walking back on GB News. Some of the more recent segments, they seem to be walking back on GB News that Meghan doesn't need to see her dad. She doesn't need to reach out to him, and that it's all ridiculous what the Daily Fail are doing. So this just shows me that whatever plan they had collectively is not working. And I think they've realized it's not going to work. And Meghan sending the email was the chef's kiss. I don't think they saw that coming. That's how dumb these people are. Meghan has clearly learnt her lesson after her father previously gave her email note to the Daily Fail. Now, she likely made sure that email had disclaimers on it, and if Thomas does not reply back to the email and only wants contact via phone, then it's clearly to serve the Daily Mail's master, and he doesn't really care to see her for the right reasons. I mean, this guy having his leg amputated and still taking money from the Daily Fail. There's this picture here. Where is it now? Yeah. So, in Thomas Markle's hospital bedridden interview with the Mail on Sunday, one detail jumped out. He told a journalist that he was having his lower leg amputated before telling either his daughter Samantha or his son Thomas Markle Jr. So he didn't even tell his other two children. And you've got the British tabloids asking, where's Duchess Meghan? Why hasn't Meghan called her dad? Well, the dad didn't even tell the other two children first. And then Meghan probably found out about her dad having his leg amputated through the Daily Fail. The Mail's Carolyn Graham writes that she got a text message from Meghan's estranged dad reading, "Going to lose the leg today." So he messaged the journalist from the Daily Fail before he even told the other two children. Graham said that when she contacted Thomas Jr., his father's primary carer, who lives with him in the Philippines. Oh, okay. Does Thomas Jr. live with him in the Philippines? I didn't know that. Well, then where is he in all of these pictures? Where is he at all? I don't know if I believe that. Okay, I have to double check that. And his other daughter Samantha with the news, both were flabbergasted. Well, if he lives with him and he's his primary caregiver, how would he not know? I don't think he is. Both were flabbergasted. He had chosen to break the news of the amputation to me before his own family. So he broke the news to Carolyn Graham of the Daily Mail before telling his own family. But you've got people bullying Meghan and saying you need to call your dad. The reason he broke it to the Daily Mail first was because he wanted the money. That's why. Let's just keep it real. That was more important to him. Oh dear. And now all of this, by the way, I mean, I think they've tried to use it as a way of distracting from Meghan's amazing run with Love Meghan, the Christmas special, and with the As Ever product launch. But actually, what it's done, because Meghan is always going to cause a splash, whatever she puts out, what it actually did was take away from the German state banquet and Kate's Together at Christmas, whatever. That's what it actually just took away from. They must be fuming. Thank you so much, Lottie, for the super sticker. And thank you so much, Ernie Call, for the super sticker. Appreciate you both. Sorry if my voice is a bit hoarse, guys. You know that I had a cold the other day. So it's just the last entrails. I do apologize. Joan Garcia, you said, yeah, if Meghan called, it would have been recorded and spread all over the tabloids. Although, one moment, please. Although I do wonder, are voice recordings protected in the way that emails are? If they're meant to be private. So like if you started the conversation with this recording or this phone call is private and confidential, I do wonder, because it is still like, would that fall under some kind of communications law? Roseanne, you said that lie about Doria was not first by Tom Bauer. It was the derangers that made it up because of a lie Samantha told on Twitter. Okay. But did Tom Bauer then pick it up and put it in his book, perhaps? Benjamin, you said Philippines hospital administration may not be sure of American laws. I know the American consulate went to visit him. Indeed, they did. So he still gets benefits from his daughter. But it seems like when they went to visit him, it was almost like he didn't want to be bothered, because actually, this is just about the Daily Mail and getting money from the Daily Mail and further bullying Meghan. Wendy Longman, you said it's very suspicious the UK media is less vitriol and more positive towards Meghan. They got their marching orders from the palaces. Yeah. They've done a 360 in the last 24 hours. You can sense it. You can absolutely sense it. I think the Daily Mail completely, they overstepped, and so did GB News. Joe DeCisi, you said Meghan's response showed a clear strategy. She used a consulate protected and fully documented channel to reach Thomas Senior. Indeed. Very, very clever. Most Thomas Jr. knew. He apparently did a live on YouTube and said they needed money to pay for the surgery. I saw that somewhere yesterday. I mean, why doesn't he have insurance? Wendy, you said GB News after the backlash of Carol Malone. No, Carol Malone now, they are pro Meghan, not Thomas Markle. They are being nice about Meghan in fear of a lawsuit. Yeah, I think that's 100% what it is also. But I think they're also now looking at the bigger picture and going, the Daily Pippa Middleton did not show up, and the very next day she was actually in Abu Dhabi. She was in Abu Dhabi with her husband. Her husband does actually have some money and some pretty high ranking roles. I feel like Pippa is very much carving her own her own space. I think the Kate Together at Christmas thing, you'll probably see less and less people going as the year goes on. The Kate's mum and dad were there, but Pippa was not there. Beatrice and Eugenie was not there. They probably want to stay out of the spotlight for a little bit because of the whole thing with Andrew. Kate probably didn't want them there because she didn't want people talking about Andrew. I believe that there's probably some kind of rift also between Pippa and Kate. I don't think the relationship has broken down entirely, but I think that there's some space there. Especially because Pippa's actually the one that went and studied, I think, childhood development. She's opening a nursery. She's doing her own thing. Okay, let's read your comments and then we'll get on to the next thing. Kenneth, you said, according to the Daily Fail, Thomas Markle was fighting for his life. He had no mask on or IV. I heard that the surgery was about a week ago. Yeah, this is another thing that they delayed. And then they tried to weaponize the timing. Yeah, Heather, in many US states, it's illegal to be recorded without knowledge. But I wonder in that situation, if it's a phone call and okay, so that's if the two people are in the United States. Now what happens if they're in another country? Because then you're looking, I mean, would you file the report in the United States if you've took the phone call in the United States? But because the phone call was on the receiving end here being the Philippines, would you also have to file in the Philippines? That's where I think the law gets a bit, yeah, what would you do then? Thank you so much, Caroline. 37 months of being a member. You are so much appreciated. At least like with memberships, it is like I know that I'll get that amount every month and it's just so helpful for the podcast. So appreciate y'all so much. Yeah, they're trying to force Meghan ZPDN to talk to Thomas directly or to talk to someone at the Daily Fail directly. And Meghan's just too clever for that. Too clever for that. All right, let's get on to the next thing. Harry's security. One moment, folks. I'll just open up my links. Yeah, let's talk about this. So Harry got himself a victory. This is quite interesting. Now, before I read the Telegraph article, let me just say that I have two theories about this. So Prince Harry wins major victory in battle for taxpayer-funded security. Duke of Sussex to receive full risk assessment following a major U-turn by the Home Office. I have two theories. Number one, Charles is a lot more ill than they're telling us. And if Harry was going to bring the kids for the funeral and Meghan for the funeral, he'd want that security. Now, granted, I still think that the funeral of the head of state would be the safest time for them to come because they wouldn't want that type of drama or anything to happen while other official heads of state are in the country. But still, I know that Harry would want security if he was to bring his wife and kids for Charles's funeral. So I think the first reason this could be happening is because Charles is a lot more sick than we know. I think the second reason this could be happening is Invictus is obviously going to be in Birmingham. You are going to have servicemen and women, their families, representatives likely from NATO and other military affiliated officials in the country. And so if they want Harry to be able to navigate safely, and if Harry wanted to bring his wife and children, they would have to give him security. I do not think that they would want any type of incident while you have a huge presence of military officials in the country. They would be goddamn stupid to allow anything to happen to Harry or his family if he agrees to bring them during Invictus Games. And I think someone has been bobbed around on the head, and they've finally come to their senses. So those are the two reasons why I think, both very self-serving for the institution and the government. By the way, I do think this decision is self-serving for them, but nonetheless, here we are. So he's been asking for a risk assessment for years, and they finally accepted to do it. Now we already know what the risk is. Harry is higher risk. His children and his wife are very much highly at risk of being attacked by some crazy. So, baby, we don't even need the assessment. Give him the security. The security, which, by the way, he offered to pay for by himself. This is another thing that keeps being left out of the narrative, and they're doing it on purpose. Anyway, here we go. The Duke of Sussex won a full security risk assessment following a major U-turn at the Home Office. Prince Harry brought a high-profile legal claim against the government over the decision to remove his right to automatic taxpayer-funded security. He lost the legal battle in May, blaming an establishment stitch-up. The Court of Appeal declared that a grievance did not equate to a valid legal argument. Mind you, that grievance is whole NAZIs threatening his family. That's the grievance. However, the Duke, who insists it is not safe to bring his wife Meghan or their two children, Prince Archie 6 and Princess Elizabeth 4, to the UK, pursued the matter behind closed doors. The Telegraph revealed in October that he had written privately to the Home Secretary Sabina Mahmood, urging her to rethink the approach to his security. Do you know what? I also think that the government have realized they've lost a very strong arm of soft power. That soft power that they keep on talking about, William and Kate really don't have it like that. Even when Harry and Meghan were still within the fold, it was Theresa May that asked Harry and Meghan to go do an official trip by her own request. The Duke is understood to have been told on Friday that the Royal and VIP Executive Committee, RAVEC, the Home Office committee responsible for such decisions, had changed tack and instructed its Risk Management Board, RMB, to reassess the threat level for the first time in nearly 6 years. Mind you, the last time this was being looked at, what's her face, Priti Patel, she was at the Home Office. The board will now collate evidence from the police, the government, and Harry's team, with its findings expected to be presented to RAVEC next month, according to The Sun. It would pave the way for the Duke to return to the UK with his children for the first time since 2022. The Duke had not been given a full risk assessment since April 2019. Then he was deemed such a target that he was put in the highest category, level 7 out of 7. Jeez. The only two people at similar risk at the time were the monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, and the Prime Minister, then Theresa May. So Harry was at the same level as the monarch and the Prime Minister. He has long argued that a new risk analysis was imperative to ensure that any security decisions made by RAVEC were based on a current threat. Ever since quitting royal duties to move abroad, the Duke has required to give 30 days notice of any UK visit, so each could be assessed on merits. But the problem with that 30-day, notice is really that's a 30-day notice for the tabloids. The High Court recognized that any renewed risk analysis could be very likely to confirm the threat levels faced by the Duke in 2019. Tell us something we do not know. Well, congratulations to Harry, and I am pretty sure that they are, at this point, this is just a formality and they will agree to give him security. I believe so. I believe so for the reasons that I've given, that he is likely to get security. Go to your comments before we get on to the last thing. Wendy, you said in 20 years I've never seen Kate with girlfriends. That's another reason why the whole with love Meghan, they have to attack it, because it shows that, Meghan really had a full life, including girlfriends. Star, you said Pip's husband only has money as part of his family business, not his own. That's why she has to hustle with the nursery and failing petting zoo. Well, you know what? I would rather she's using whatever money that her husband's family has to start her own business, instead of running around trying to get cash money bags from nefarious individuals in foreign countries. So I actually sincerely hope her nursery and petting zoo does well. Keep yourself away from the taxpayers' purse strings. Thank you very much. I didn't know they let you do interviews from intensive care. When did they start that? They started doing that when the Daily Fail asked for it. That's when they started doing it. Ridiculous, right? Benjamin, you said, and I agree. And if when Charles goes, William will look petty. If and when he predictably tries to take it away, indeed. Because I think Charles, even though Charles was partly responsible for the pulling of Harry's security in the first place when they were in Canada, I think he's realizing now just how petty and vindictive William will be. And at the very least, for his funeral, he wants to ensure, I think, for his own image and optics, that those kids are at that funeral. I believe that Charles, selfish as he is, he wants those children at that funeral for his own optics. I don't know if you guys can hear the gecko in the background. Tell me you're not in the United Kingdom without telling me you're not in the United Kingdom. Funny animals at night making noises. It's a type of lizard, and I am shocked at how loud it is. It's like a bullhorn. And the British media wants access to Harry and his family. That's why they want Harry to have security. Yeah, sorry, that is actually a very good point, Church Nelly. Thank you very much. And the third self-serving, selfish reason why they would want Harry to have security. Very good point. Spidey, you said, I understand that the Daily Fail claim that they know about the contents of Meghan's email to her dad. Well, they better not print it or that's another lawsuit. Helen, you said, and don't forget, the Home Secretary hasn't been in the job long. The previous Home Secretary was Yvette Cooper, who was married to Ed Balls, former MP, who was a presenter and arranger on GB News. That is so interesting. I didn't know that Yvette Cooper was married to Ed Balls. I learned something new today. Joe DeCeasy, you said you are right. And King Charles' morality is at the forefront to intimidate and manipulate the process. That seems feasible when it's not. Shaky and corrupt institutions. Indeed. Wendy, you said Harry will get security, I believe. Charles is fed up with William. Well, Charles could overstep William at any point if he wants to at the moment. He has very poor health, and Invictus Games, the UK want Harry and Meghan to come back because the monarchy is in deep trouble. Well, listen, at this point, I don't think Harry and Meghan coming back will help the monarchy. If anything, I would actually argue that coming back to aid the monarchy in any way would hurt Harry and Meghan's image with their fan base, because I know people in this space who, took issue with the fact that Meghan spoke highly of the Queen and things like that. So it's of no benefit to Harry and Meghan to help the monarchy in any way, because Harry and Meghan's fan base are not monarchists. In fact, most of them are anti-monarchists. Okay, let's go on to the last thing. Um, William, William, I think, is really just in a predicament. I don't think William ever thought that when he was growing up and dreaming about being king, we'd be where we are now. Apparently, Prince William thinks that the royals are becoming irrelevant because of all the pomp. Back in September, the Royalists had a half decent scoop on the trials and tribulations of King Charles and Prince William. This piece happened before Prince Harry's 4-day visit, in which Harry had tea with his father. Following that meeting, William had something akin to a nervous breakdown because Charles refuses to be incandescent with rage about Harry. Is the entire Windsor psychodrama about who Daddy loves more? No, but that's a sizable chunk of the drama. Anyway, the Royalist sources, the Royalist, that's Tom Sykes's little Substack thing he has going on, claim that William has a deep-seated resentment towards his father. I mean, apparently he also has one towards his mother, so I think William just kind of resents everybody at this point. Sources also confirm that Charles and William rarely speak directly or meet informally, and most of their communication is mediated by their private secretaries. Charles was also upset that William skipped the V-Day memorial in August. William was on vacation, and a source told Tom Sykes regarding V-Day specifically to William, continuing to run the monarchy as though it were still an Edwardian institution feels absurd. To Charles, his son's more casual approach can feel like a lack of respect for duty and tradition. William thinks paying respects to World War II veterans is just outdated pomp, which William doesn't feel like doing, especially when he could just send a misspelt tweet. Why do I bring this up? Because William feels that people are laughing at the royals because they dress up in uniforms and cloaks and robes. Oh, honey, they're laughing not because of that. Huh, exactly. I mean, there's part of it, but I mean, there's a lot of other things to laugh about. Like, hello. Hmm. Again, William is actually right that the Windsors have become irrelevant, and he's right that people are laughing at the royals. But he's wrong about why. He just doesn't want to wear kilts or robes or ceremonial garb of any kind. I have to say, I think he does look quite embarrassed when he has to. And he's reverse engineering the reason why he shouldn't have to. That's why we're unpopular, because we wear velvet robes, the same robes I hate to wear. You know why the heir is unpopular? Because he doesn't feel it necessary to show up for stuff like V-Day. They're laughing at William because of his volleyball antics, not because he wore a robe. Incidentally, William looked stupid at the Order of the Bath event earlier this year, not because he wore a robe, because his robe was wrinkled and he looked like he had just rolled out of bed hungover. I mean, it was probably ironed, but he's sitting in the car, it's going to get wrinkled quite easily. But I just don't understand why they wouldn't just make more modern looking garb. Anywho, William thinks it's becoming irrelevant because of the pomp and he doesn't want to wear robes. Nothing to do with perhaps scaling down how much it costs to maintain you so you can live in crazy big estates. Nothing about that, of course. Wild. Okay. See if there's any comments and we will wrap things up. A cute gecko from the gecko commercials. Oh, this one isn't cute. It's massive and it's loud. Eco, you're another person who's saying that Dad Markle had his amputation done weeks ago. They timed it to come out in the media to try and overshadow Meghan's holiday show. Indeed. Yeah, Prince Harry's children are getting big and, you know, big and beautiful to be ignored. The royal family in the UK are chopping the bit to see the little prince and princess, yes. And if they were to come for the funeral, it would be all about them. Be all about them. All right, folks, gonna leave things there. Thank you as always for your amazing support. Remember to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe button on your way out. Thank you also for 40,000 subscribers. Appreciate you all so, so much. Could not do it without you. All right, everyone. Ciao.